And I wrote about this today. Like the offensive line, it's a huge talking point. It's a huge hot button issue, I think, for this program. And we talk about it all the time. And I'm sure at your tailgates, since you're at Kroger Field, you are going to be talking about it. When you're at Roosters enjoying a cold beer, you're going to be talking about the offensive line because that's what we do, because we are ate up with this sport. But I just don't. But my point in the column I wrote today was, hey, it's not just on them. It can't just be, well, if they can't physically dominate people at the point of attack, that, well, we can't run the football. Like, obviously there is an element of that you have to be able to do that in certain situations. You have to impose your will on an opponent and all of that. But they also need some help. They need some help from the scheme. They need some help from the play caller. They need some help from the six other players on offense. Like, number one, QB run. Like, Kentucky didn't have any semblance of a design QB run game the last 2 years. They refused to run Will Levis. Devin Leary was a strict pocket passer. That alone should help raise the floor of this run game. And I think it's going to be something we'll see. We already heard Hamden talk about the importance of it. So we can expect, I think, Brock Vandegrift for that to be in the package. I think they added Gavin Wimsatt for a reason. One, he's insurance. Two, I think they're going to probably have a package for him to maybe take some carries off Vandegrift. And he's a bigger body in there, and he was really successful in kind of playing glorified Wildcat quarterback for Rutgers, specifically in the red zone. 11 rushing touchdowns, popped a couple, but really most of his damage was done kind of high red zone to low red zone, like moving the chains on third and short and running the football down there when you get close to the paint. And so I think that's going to be a package, and I think that is going to help immensely get this run game going. When you kind of look at Kentucky's best run games they've had under Stoops, QB run's been big. Steven Johnson ran for over 500 non-sack yards. Terry Wilson eclipsed 600 non-sack yards in 2018. Lynn Bolden probably would have ran for 2,500 yards if they let him play quarterback the full season. But you just throw that year out, even Levis in 2021. I think we really got excited about that offense when they started running him in the second half of the year, and it really, I think, unlocked some things for the offense. And he ended up running, and we all remember the Louisville game, obviously, but I think he ran for right at 600 or 500 to 600 non-sack yards, 9 rushing touchdowns. So I think that's going to be a big part, and I think that's really going to help out the offensive line and the run game get going, is just having an element of QB run. And I think you can see some of that in practice. There's the zone read looks that we all know that they're running. And then I think there's also going to be, obviously, draws, QB counters, maybe some QB powers, I think, with Wimsatt when he gets involved. And then there's the stuff you can do off of all those actions in the play-action pass game. So I think it's going to be a big part of the offense. And that's why I would, like, if you're going to say buy or sell Kentucky's run game, I would buy, because I think this QB run game is just going to help a ton. And I think that's really important because running back is still kind of, what do you expect? What are you getting? I thought Chip Trainum looked good in the practice, but after him, that's a big question mark. I thought Jason Patterson was just okay. Didn't really get a ton of eyes on him. He was mostly with the twos from what I saw. And then Demi Seymour-Cornbay, I think his value is really kind of in the pass game. But if you have to run him, I think he can do some things. And he popped some his explosive run rate was good last year in limited carries. But that's still TBD. Quarterback can help offset that and can really help supplement their run game. And I think it's going to be the thing that gets them out of that cellar from an efficiency standpoint, is having a QB that can run there. And in the 4-minute offense, and times you have to have it, that's when you would save the QB run. That's when you pull the read. That's when you maybe pull a QB counter out of nowhere to kind of catch the defense off guard. And so I think that's going to be a huge part of the offense, and Hamden has shown that both at Missouri in the last 3 games he called plays and at Boise State, that he is willing to run that quarterback, and I think that's going to be a good thing overall, I think, for the Kentucky run game, and it's going to take some pressure off of that offensive line.